All right, guys, welcome back to Midwest Long Range. Today, I've got some special guests here on this episode of BS at the Bench.
Heavy with the special.
It's special, yeah. Yeah, where'd your helmet go?
Real
special.
Yeah.
We got Doug Boze. He's the match director for pretty well all the match. You and Jason.
Me and Jason and DJ do the Misfits and the NRL22 stuff, and then me and Brian Buell do all the center fire most matches. So
yeah. So we're here at Gadsden Shooting Center in Iberia, Missouri. Obviously, I brought the Oompa Loompa back with me. I'm sorry, I'm going to do that every time.
It's all right. Just ask him what the match standings say.
Well, last week was better.
Well, if we average the 2 weeks out, you
did pretty bad
by one place this week, but you lost to me by how many places this match?
You mean I lost you? I beat you by one last week.
You beat me by one place last week, and this go around.
I ended up in 12th.
Yeah, so you're
you're
not close.
You're tied.
Tied for fourth. Yeah. I'm taking that fourth. I'm not giving myself fifth. Fourth sounds better.
I didn't miss a damn thing today. Now yesterday, on the other hand, I missed a lot.
A lot.
You don't miss much when you don't shoot.
No, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It seems to work out pretty good for me.
So today we shot NRL22. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you guys hold PRS, most series stuff. The most series finale was here last year. That was PRS regional.
Yep. The other 22. Yep.
And then most recently, y'all held the NRL championship.
Yep. NRL22 Nationals. Yeah. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
We had 210 shooters, I think. 5 from Australia, and we shot all those places we did today, and then went all the way to the 1,000-yard tower. So
I begged and pleaded with every match director I knew, but I couldn't get a spot.
yeah,
I didn't. I literally
filled up pretty quick.
when they oh shoot, Jason. I remember he had put a post out on the Misfits group that anybody interested in shooting the finale, or the championship, to let him know. And because they weren't sure how it was all going to pan out, right? The NRL22X guys everybody hadn't got back in yet, and all that. And, so I was sitting there. I was like, I'll buy my membership right now. He's like, I think it's probably too late, but you can try. I'm like, I'm wasting that $80, buddy.
That goes for a good cause.
Yeah.
So, but I got my membership this year.
Nice.
So it doing all right so far, and
Yeah.
you're out here the championship's going to North Carolina, to your point.
Yeah, and I'll be back home, so it's an hour and a half for me. I've shot there before. I know the facility, know the facility owners, know the match director, know the guy who's going to be setting up the props, so I know who I need to pay.
If they're anything like him, it's not going to do you any good.
No, yeah, it's not.
So, were any of the stages we shot today from the championship?
Yes. So the guys that shot it, they're like, hey, we want redemption on some of these stages. Can you start filtering in a few of those as bonus stages?
Yeah.
So normally we shoot all the NRL stuff up here on the 1,000-yard and the 600-yard base. So we were carrying them down. I saved the woods kind of for my big matches.
Mm-hmm.
So we're filtering in just a 2 stages or 3 stages of some of these NRL ones that we shot. And everyone seemed to like them, and I still get cussed the same way.
Well, the complaint department is always open.
Oh, yeah,
for a match director,
yeah.
so.
You need that sign I have up in my shop. It's a grenade, and it says "Complaint Department, take a number."
With a pen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so which ones was it? Was it the?
It was the duck stage.
Yeah.
We done the duck stage. We done the prairie dog stage, and we did the.
That was the one on the tripod, wasn't it?
Yes, the prone and tripod, and then we done the cedar tree one. The 10 position.
That one kicked my ass.
Yeah.
It was not.
That one beat down a lot of people.
The cedar tree one?
Not because of the position. When our squad went through, we were chasing wind a lot. It was very off and on. So even though the target was fairly big, it was enough of a distance to where you were trying to hold. You had you had a half a target wobble zone on the best positions and 3/4 target maybe on some of the not so great positions. But so you didn't really know how close to an edge you were breaking your shot sometimes. And then when the wind would kick up, you would miss and you couldn't. You were just kind of chasing wind.
Yeah, that one was 144 yards at the 6
it wasn't
inch.
too bad. Yeah, it was fairly big.
But the wind's a little bit deceiving right there because you're kind of tucked up against a wood line.
Yeah.
And there's woods this way, woods this way, and you're shooting through this gap here. Well, where the target is, there's also a little gap that comes through here.
Yeah.
So you can get it both ways, but where you're standing, you don't feel a whole bunch of it. So it's a little challenging.
I know, like you have the first cedar tree, and then there's like a gap, and there you got to get in between it. And there's this one little sapling that pokes up there.
Yeah.
I was running pretty low on time, so I do the first one, and I come around the corner and I look at it, and I heard somebody say something about like I was under a minute. I'm like, nope, we're skipping this. I'm looking at that one. I'm like, nah, we're gonna go this way.
Yeah.
Because that little area that was over there, it didn't look fat guy friendly. I mean,
we would have got you in
Yeah.
well,
I got
you'd
it
have
now.
had somebody to pull splinters out of my hind end, man. It'd have been rough.
Yeah, I shot that one, and I actually, like, mentally, I'm feeling like the last match and this match, the only NRL experiences I have.
Okay.
And while it's rimfire, precision rimfire, I've only shot PRS rimfire, and on the East Coast. So we have 90-second stages, so that's bred into me. So I'm constantly finishing with a bunch of time. And I'm seeing, like, to me, I can distinctly point out, I don't know if it's West Coast to East Coast, well, this isn't really West Coast, but I don't know if it's like Midwest, versus East Coast, or how we run state, but there's a distinct difference in, like, how PRS matches are done there versus NRL, which NRL gives you a course of fire. I think everybody knows that. And typically I use, shorter distances to make things more challenging.
Right.
So I've never shot weak side until I came to Missouri and shot that course of fire, like this course of fire. Never shot weak side, and a lot of the stages and stuff, it's like I can't get mentally, they don't make sense to me. But now, like the ducks, it was longer distance,
Right.
shooting off a truck. That was very PRS for me, so I felt right at home. I could think through that, but I've off and on between last week's match, this match, even though we shot basically the same thing, I find myself like in a position where I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I have like 45 seconds left, and I just botched this for no reason.
Well, and then also, like we shot last weekend with Jeremy Boyer, right, down at Springfield Bench Rest Club. NRL-wise, same course of fire. The 5 stages, right?
Right.
So, same course of fire. But he's on a fire line style range, square range,
probably big berms on the side,
big berms, all that kind of stuff. Just going from there to here, at least for me, the difficulty level increased simply by location.
Oh, yeah.
Same course of fire.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because
change location.
You match it like the strong side, weak side, strong side ladder chair on the KYL at 35.
Right.
That's like just unobtainium for me, but he shoots weak side pretty good. He cleaned that last week. That was like one of the strongest stages, like, and he cleaned it easily, like with a bunch of time left. And then
Not today.
Yeah, today he struggled on it. I was kind of
just because you threw wind into the mix also. That was only 35 yards, so they're not that much.
No, it wasn't the wind. Honestly, I wasn't real confident in my zero. That's one thing, and everybody watching, I'll say this about Gadsden: don't touch your knobs. Do not adjust at the zero range unless you're like, how does Weatherby win after he drops his rifle like epically just on the rocks?
Yeah.
But I'll get to that.
He
in a
was
minute.
consistently okay all day, and I think the consistency paid off. He didn't bomb anything.
Yeah, but so I wasn't terribly. I adjusted my zero this morning. And I'm like, well, we're down here in the woods, because usually we zero up here, and then we zero up here. And then we go to the woods. And I was like, today I was like, well, maybe let's tweak it just a little bit.
Right.
And so I was hesitant all day with that. And then on that particular stage, I was shooting parallax real dirty. I should have reached up and grabbed it. When I switched from my right eye to my left eye, so I'm left eye dominant,
right?
But I shoot right-handed.
Okay.
So when I switch to my left eye, I have to reach over and tweak the parallax, and I didn't do that today. Or I did do that last week.
Mm-hmm.
and the targets were fuzzy, and I'm like, I can see them good enough.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I think on the chair, I whiffed it 0 for 4. That flies all over you.
I
man.
think I hit I hit maybe 1 or 2.
I don't
But
know,
there's
you
funny
beat
things
me.
because there's two distinct stages that like bring good points up because I love to talk like ammo, 22 ammo, and I don't love it because I want to pitch Ely, and it's only 50% of it is about Ely specific, but there's 2 things that like I notice and that a lot of people I still meet people today. I talk to people today, they have no clue. They look at you like you've got 3 heads, but the deal is like if you take your ballistics calculator, whether that's your Kestrel, whether that's your phone, and you put your ammo in there, and you put your same everything, and just put muzzle velocity at 1050, put a target at 300 yards, and a 6 mile an hour 90-degree wind, and look at your dope, and don't worry about elevation, but look at your wind call because your Kestrel is going to tell you how much wind to hold. Now increase the velocity up from like 1050 to 1100 feet per second. It's going to tell you to hold more wind because the 22 long rifle bullets are low BC. Like they're high BC for what they are, the matchables, but they're low BC. The harder you push low BC bullets, the more steer effect the wind has on them. And at 35 yards a day, I got maybe a 4 mile an hour wind increase when I was shooting through that KYL rack at 35 yards. And when the wind picked up, I ignored it. And when I shot, that bullet was 2/10 left. And then for the next target was a 1/4 inch, I held 2/10 right and hit the 1/4 inch.
Wow.
It moved my bullet, but it's 1130 feet per second out of my gun, so it's very steerable by the wind at that point. And if you look at your calculator, it'll show that. And then the other one's kind of the duck thing, but I don't know if I want to rub.
Oh, God.
So not to make it a Ely pitch, because everybody knows I shoot Ely, but we have a unique opportunity here where we had 35-yard targets to 300 or what we're doing.
Right at 300.
Yeah,
296.
right at 300. So when you get out there, when things start happening, and you're shooting a typical like SK, and his gun is really accurate.
I shoot SK long range match.
Yeah.
It's a little hotter, but I run a 24-inch barrel.
Yeah.
So that's why I run
But
that.
you shoot for this thing. You shoot a black bullet.
Yeah.
And I shoot a silver Ely bullet. 85% of the shots I took today, I saw the bullet go to the target and hit the target. Like I was 4 off the winner, and those were all stupid mental mistakes. But almost every shot I took, I watched the bullet go all the way to and hit or miss or whatever it was going to do. But like when you if you're shooting a black bullet, a lot of times guys who don't get away from it, like they just don't want to leave SK or LeBou or whatever. And I'm not saying you need to, but there's a distinct benefit because I shot the ducks and people struggled. People hit very low. First shot I took, I watched the bullet go all the way out there, hit the target, and I knew exactly what I needed to do.
Match sponsored by Ely.
I ended up dropping one, and I don't know if the wind changed or I made a bad shot, but I watched almost all of them. And I would say, just because I shot Ely, that's the only reason I even knew where I was hitting. And so
I only
there's
had
that.
one stage all day where I could watch the bullet go in. That was on the Prairie Dog where you got to go hard left.
Right?
Yeah.
The sun caught it just right. I watched it all the way. I'm like, ooh,
I was on glass for a lot of those stages, and it was nice just watching it.
Yeah, I watched them bullets fly.
Because you were, on that one, I had you guys moving so far from right to left.
Yeah.
And so you'd be like this, and then by the time you was on the glass, you were like
Yeah.
wedged up in your tripod,
Trying to look
looking to the
down.
right,
Yep.
and you'd catch that bullet just go
Right
past
past the
you.
sun, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that was a fun stage. All in all, I mean, all of it was fun today. And I was kind of wondering how that was going to work out, going from literally shooting the same course of fire, the 5 stages last week to this week. But honestly, between terrain difference, weather, everything.
It felt like a different match.
It
didn't feel like the same match.
It wasn't the same thing.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
Well, that's a cool thing about you two being able, traveling all over. Well, hell, we all travel anymore,
Yeah.
everywhere. And it's fun going to different areas of the country and seeing how they do things.
Yeah, there's always leeway too because, like when we shot the last match, they didn't have tires.
Yeah.
Here we have tires, but we had car tires, and I like shooting off those more because they're more challenging. So when you're on a single tire, you're way lower to the ground. It provides it eats up people's time getting in it. They're less stable because the sidewalls aren't as stiff. If you'd have put tractor tires on that stage, just that probably would have changed just those stage cores just on that. So, and
I wonder how many
you get
people
that
clean
leeway.
that stage.
We can find out.
I bet a lot of people clean, probably 10 or 15 cleaned it, and I bet a lot of people shot like draw one.
What was the name of that one? Do you remember? Was that Let Freedom Ring?
It was stage 3.
Let Freedom Ring.
Yeah.
Fine with division. Matt Woody cleaned it, Chris Booker cleaned it, and Leon Weatherby cleaned it. No wonder you was asking. You wanted to
That's why he wanted me to say his name. He's like, oh, I cleaned.
Go ahead,
I cleaned
look
one
that up.
stage today. Let's bring that up. Yeah, I dropped
That
one.
was the only stage I cleaned all day.
Yeah.
That's
where we
Let's
started
talk
too.
about the positives. I mean,
yeah. We don't have to
No, I
dwell
can't.
on the negative.
Doug, I can't remember. Could you look that up? What was the score?
Yeah.
Well played. Chris, well played.
You know, you got to get them when you can.
Yeah.
But
Well, Leon ended up winning that.
yeah,
And he did not there were some stages he cleaned. He shot pretty solid. I
But
felt
he-
like I was beating him for a significant amount of the match till we got down to the end, right before we made the turn, and I had some really major. And I was like, it's one of those deals where you want everybody to shoot good, but when you know you're in a competition, you're like, God dang, Leon, think you can miss a couple here? You know, like, give me some room to make up. But no, he didn't give it to me, and that's why he won. You know.
There were at least 3 stages I know that as soon as I come off the stage, I'm like, well, that hurt. That was bad.
Yeah.
That was really
You know them. You know them when they happen.
But today,
Let's talk about them tires.
it was bad.
Well, and it's not. I just show you. I mean, people get bent out of shape about the gun, this, gun, that, and people are always, everybody likes their gun, everybody likes their brand, and everything else sucks for whatever reason. And I get that. People got brand loyalty, but my gun shoots 1/2 inch or under. Like that is what that gun. Even on their 0 target, I didn't shoot anything. I don't know what size those circles were, but every single one of my 100-yard shots was touching during 0. The gun is hammering and it's shooting that ammo really good. And I only hit 6 targets. It's 1.5 inches, so my gun is literally shooting 3 times smaller than it needs to hit that target. But
with the
wind,
Gadsden
whatever,
wind.
dumb stuff, nerves, under pressure.
This range, man. Every time I come here, I shot the Catalina wine mixer last year. Well, so.
How?
Huh? my first match here, I filmed. Me and Dalton came up. Remember?
Yeah.
We shot up here on the top range.
Remember very
And it's on the channel. I may throw a deal on there, but
That's when I was having all those medical issues, and you interviewed me right after. I was hopped up on meds. Do we have to remember that?
well, you can skip over Doug's interview. But we shot there, and then I came back. I shot the wine mixer, and then we shot the most finale.
Right.
And the wine mixer and the most finale were they were close as far as course of fire, if I remember right. There were some definite differences.
Yeah,
but they were both back in the woods.
Yep.
I don't know what kind of voodoo you got on that jungle run stage.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell y'all where to hold. But I don't care who it is. I told Bud Weber before he went and ran that stage when we were here for the finale, for the most finale. I'm like, hey, hold here. He's like, it's not going to work for my gun. I'm like, whatever, man. You do you.
Let me know how it worked out for you.
He goes through the stage. The first couple positions, he's missing.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, he starts hitting. And he comes back after it's over with, and we're standing off to the side, and I think Bryce, I can't remember who all was in our squad, Phil, Bobby, Bryce, there was a few of us, but Bud comes over and he goes, I don't know how that works, but I used your hold. Nailed it. I'm like, dude, I don't get it either, but it's weird voodoo crap in these woods.
That happens. There's a place in Chris's range, which is all, mountains of North Carolina, where you see the mirage, it's right to left. You look at the brush, right to left. When you see people miss targets, the dust goes right to left. There's a little creek that runs through there. I'll be damned if you aren't going to miss that target on the freaking right side.
Well,
That happens at Recon by Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've never been over there, have you?
no, but I've heard all about it.
Yeah. So
And I want to get down there.
that's stupid. Sorry, but I don't mean to call your range stupid, but there's a freaking creek that cuts that range in half and runs down one side.
Right?
I can't read wind. I can't read wind, period.
There's evidence today. But
exactly. But
me either.
making judgments based on wind there is so much harder for me than anywhere else I go. And it's hard every time, but that place I just give up. I'm like, we're just gonna hold left edge and send it. It's like,
Imagine
we're going.
if a commercial company that had a global distribution chain sold bullets that you could see in the air without having to always rely on wind. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Match sponsored by Ely.
He does,
I don't know
but
about you.
I'm
I'm just
just
done talking to him. He's so full of himself now.
Look, I'm not full of myself. I'm telling you, I would have finished. I don't know how tight it was. You know, I
If
know
I'd
it's
have been
top
in the
four.
top 5, I'd have been talking the same shit.
No, I'm just saying, if I would have been shooting, because I've shot SKE and I've shot local, and they make great ammunition. But today, if I'd have been shooting that ammunition when I hit that first target, I would have not seen where it hit and how it was going on the way out there, and I would have probably missed five or so of those targets because I had to make a correction immediately, and it was not what you would have thought because there was a bunch of wind, and I'm watching as shooters are shooting and running the tablet, and I'm looking at wind and I'm looking at them miss, and I'm like thinking, God dang, I got to hold a 1/2 mil off the left, or at least bracket the left side of the target. I shot the first one and said, well, I'll just take this one as an L if I don't hit it. But I held that sucker straight up, and I was like 1/10 of windage difference on target. Now, my elevation was different, but I watched it go out there, and I watched where it hit. But if I'd have been just holding that left.
Well, that one you clipped on the. I was actually on
Yeah.
glass when you shot, and it clipped the right side and
Yep.
shot off. Target didn't even hardly move, and I saw it.
Yeah.
I just watched it all the way, clip that right edge, and then shoot off about 10 feet.
And luckily, I saw that one when it
And I was
happened.
like, I
was
got
like,
you.
yeah.
That's good back.
I was like, I gotta adjust,
Yep.
and that happens a lot. I've told him I've shot plenty of matches where I'm shooting, and I'm shooting maybe targets 130 yards, and I watch my bullet leave and go to the target, and I watch it. I make a crappy shot because I still suck, and I'll hit a target glance, and the target will rock, and then I won't hear anything, and then I'll say, "Hey, was that an impact?" And I don't argue with Arlo. I'm never going to argue with someone, but I just thought maybe they weren't on glass, maybe thing, and they just said, "Oh, I didn't see it," and I'm like,
that happened to me on glass once today. I think it might have been even you. I can't remember who was shooting, but no, it was Alex Spencer.
Oh, that's that one that went right under. He hit the bottom side of it and went under? Is that
No,
that
this
one?
was later in the day. There was another one. He pulls a shot out there, and like the target just did this weird like shimmy,
Right?
yeah.
and I was trying to get the word out, but I was still thinking about it.
Yeah, he can.
And Alex goes, "Wasn't that an impact?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, it was," but I was just amazed by how close.
Yeah.
You know, like I was still processing. I was still.
I think
thinking.
I was on glass when
You
Alex
might have
was
been.
shooting the ducks.
Oh.
And,
Yeah, 'cause
and
he was our
it
first
glanced the very bottom of that
Yeah.
target and did the same thing, hit back behind it, and I
Yeah.
was like, "That's an impact."
Yeah, I saw it because if you wouldn't if you weren't paying attention, it looked
Yeah,
like
it
he
looked like
missed
it was
by
in the dirt.
feet. Yeah, like by feet. And you know, when I thought the guy, we started shooting, there was a guy, I don't remember his name, maybe it's someone you know. He was shooting a factory Bergara.
That was Pointer.
And
Zach Pointer.
And I'm just gonna, yes, Zach. And he's probably not gonna like that I'm gonna say this, but he beat himself out of the match. So he had a Bergara, factory Bergara. He obviously had ammo that was working, and
I know
he
was
didn't
killing it on
he
some of
didn't
those
miss
things.
a lot of targets, but he was shooting so fast. Like he was shooting at targets while they're swinging. He was just working so fast. I mean, he was finishing with half the time left some of these, and if he just slowed down, which trying to tell someone how to shoot, obviously he can shoot, but when you see someone like, my God, this guy would just be wearing us out if he was like
Just
just
If he would
slow
slowed down
a little
by
bit.
1 point, he would have beat you.
Yeah. Yeah, see?
He was right there.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's that stage. Never mind, that was that stage.
Oh.
He got a 9, same as you.
Yeah, he was. I mean, but he
On
was
that left
killing
freedom
some
range.
stages, and I was like, I think Chris said something too. He's like, man, we're gonna get our asses kicked by a guy who knows factory. But out here,
I made the comment. I'm like, look at this squad.
He
We
was
got
at 550.
We got custom Voodoos,
550.
custom CZs,
yeah,
and he's running a Remix in our squad. Leon was in our squad,
yep.
and dude's running a factory Bagara, and there were stages he was wearing us out.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow.
It's the Indian, not the arrow.
I'm telling
Old
you.
boy and his son with that Savage. I mean, they
Oh,
were
dude.
like, he shot the last one and this one, and he.
So yeah, that dad and the son, or I don't know. No, actually, it's his nephew. Sorry, I can't remember their
something like
names.
that, yeah.
I can't either.
They were shooting that.
Osh.
Oh yeah, that's one of their names.
I can't
yeah.
pronounce it.
I think that's, I think that's the
It's
boy's
OC.
name.
His name was Austin.
Yeah.
But I can't remember how he's pronounced
So
his last
that
name.
young man, and I believe that's his uncle or
Yes.
something.
We're going to get him in contact with Ruth. up in
Yeah, up in Minnesota, yeah.
She's going to take care of him.
So
Nice.
That guy's got a bright future.
Yeah.
That kid's going to be good.
yeah, so he shot last weekend with us at Springfield,
Yep.
and then I guess he said they shot the center fire match yesterday.
The dad did.
Yeah,
I think
uncle.
the boy did. Or yeah, the uncle.
I was calling him Dad the whole match.
That's what we're used to seeing.
Yeah,
Hey man, whatever it takes to get him on the range.
That's
yeah. But I mean, he showed up. I mean, it's like bulk ammo, Savage, and I mean that thing is. Everybody gets on the forums. Everybody's talking about, let's go this, that, and the other. Like it really doesn't matter which one it is. It's not like they were getting trounced by anybody, and you can hear this thing is way in the supersonic range. I mean, it's like, but and then they're running a low budget scope. I think it was a MilDOT setup, optic. And,
Yeah, he did a lot of holdovers.
So yeah, it's not like like they have any advantages. But
Yeah. Well, all in all, like I said, today we had a great time.
We
I
did.
always have a good
We
time
did.
coming up here.
We like having it.
I know I need to look at the schedule and see when you guys have some center fire stuff coming up, because I've got some new setups, and I think it's time to get old boy over here out of his comfort zone. Let's get him some recoil.
There we go. I had to
Worry
check the
about it.
schedule. I think our next center fire match will be the most finale. Center fire finale.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's in, I can't remember.
I don't
End
know.
of September, beginning of October.
I got you. Well, we're gonna try to catch some. I don't know if we'll make that one. That'll be a big boy match right there. And
We gotta go to
the last center fire match I went to was at Shield. Please don't look up that score. Like that was bad. That was.
I'll tell you what, Shield Solutions back in the day, man, I had the hardest time with target acquisition. Just finding the targets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would sit there and, so they kind of, it's all one big field out in front of you, or ridge.
Yeah.
But it's actually separated like in 3 different ranges once
Yep.
you know the setup.
It was, man, it was kicking my tail that day, because
yeah.
anything inside of 600, I couldn't hit.
They got enough traffic through there
I
too.
couldn't hit nothing.
Yep.
But we get out to 7, 8, 9, 1,000. I was hammering,
On it.
but there weren't that many targets out there. So at the
10%
end,
of the targets. Yeah.
at the end of the day, I think, what's that old boy's name? Trent Keene. He was
solid.
in our squad, and me and Dalton Cassidy were there. And our last stage was a rooftop, and I'd already went over and I told Dalton, I'm like, dude, I'm hot, I'm ready to go. The rifle's heavy, and like I've got an appointment I got to be at. I'm like, we get this stage done, I'm not waiting around, we're leaving. Okay. So Dalton, I think he goes first. He doesn't even finish the stage. Like he has a mag issue or something. He's like, I'm done. He just walks off. I get up there, and I heard somebody behind me say, "Good Lord, it's like a gas gun," because I'm just sending rounds. I didn't. The gun would settle, and I'm like, that's about where it is. Boom, send it. But I could see the target, and it was, as bad as my windage was all day. I was like, that might hit it. But anyway, so we had a great time. I appreciate you coming on here and talking with us. You too, Josh. This is a little different format. kind of trying to get out and get some other faces in here. Dalton was supposed to be here today, but his gun didn't show up. So
we offer loaners.
we do
Just
offer
saying.
loaners.
Just
What
saying.
what happened?
I got all ammo, Dalton.
Run
got
out
the
of
gun.
excuses quick.
I mean, literally, I mean, y'all watch the channel. How many rimfires I got sitting around?
Yeah.
And
Sounds
I
like
got
an
2
excuse
Bernards
to me.
sitting at your house.
I know. And he just said no, he wasn't gonna do it. He doesn't like us anymore.
I guess.
It hurt my feelings. But, well, guys, I appreciate you watching. Come back and see us next time. This is BS at the Bench on Midwest Long Range. Stay safe. Keep shooting. See you next time.